introduce our facilitator for today, Micah Orloff. Micah is the @ONE Educational Projects Coordinator and has been an adjunct faculty member at MSJC for a number of years and is a Microsoft certified trainer in Microsoft Office products. And I think you will find that he is a terrific facilitator and presenter. So it's all yours, Micah.
Hey, thanks, Bill. Thanks, Marty, too. I know you're on the line as well. And I appreciate you guys today coming out for another session on some Office products. Some of you may have participated the last couple weeks. Last week with Lynn Mann, we had Excel 2010, and the week before that we had Word 2010, and we appreciate you guys coming out and learning a little bit more about what Microsoft is doing with the Office 2010 platform. So for some of you that have participated in the last couple of weeks here, you may see a couple things that are very similar to the previous presentations, and the reason why is because Office is trying to establish new features consistently across the different products. For those of you that are new and this is your first one because you mostly use PowerPoint, then you won't be, this will be your first time seeing some of these slides and presentation material. So first off, what we're going to do is just to kind of poll the audience here, I'm going to set up the polling options for some multiple choice answers here. So you should notice now that instead of a green check and a red X, there's a A, B, C, D, and E. And I would like for you guys to share an answer here with this question. Which version of Office are you using now? Are you using A, Office 2007 on Windows, B, Office Mac 2008 on Mac, of course, and C, 2004 on Mac, D, if you guys are still on 03, or not sure. And actually, you can use A if you're already on 2010. You just use the polling options located in the participants window around this area. We'll give a couple seconds here for you guys to continue to answer, and then I'm going to go ahead and in a couple seconds here publish that. All right. So for those of you that did participate in the poll, you'll notice that it looks like most of you are either on 2007 or quite possibly 2010, and that's why you're participating in this presentation now. And so most of you are probably going to have some familiarity with the ribbon and the Fluid UI interface, which is the interface that they've been using since 2007 on the Mac platform. If you're using Mac Office 2011, the newest one that came out within the last year, then you're going to be becoming comfortable with the ribbon platform as well. The second thing I want to ask of you guys with the same kind of poll feature here is, and I'm going to probably change it to just these, is what is your role on campus? Are you faculty? That's A. If you're staff, click B. If you're an administrator, click C. And if you're not so sure, then you should check with the Human Resources Department. But click D as well. All right, great. And in a couple seconds here, I'll be publishing what you guys have offered up. All right, so it's a good mixture of faculty and staff, and that makes sense. When I did the Word one, it was a lot of staff members actually that were participating, and I could see with this why faculty would participate, because you're probably using PowerPoint in the classroom for delivering lectures or interactive materials, and you're trying to find ways of leveraging the product and the new features that can help make it easier and more efficient for you as a faculty member to use these tools. Well, thank you for participating in those polls there. And so one of the things that Office, the Microsoft Product Advisory for Office, thought about when they were facing these challenges of trying to make a product that was streamlined, that did a lot of the things that provided the instructor or the staff member the opportunity to embed media and not have to be some type of guru or techno geek to be able to do it. They knew that they needed to provide these products or these features into their application suite in a way that would allow people to use it efficiently, not have to have a steep learning curve, and so on and so forth. So they really had three different themes what they wanted to do in their Office product this go around. And the first thing was bringing ideas to life, being able to express those ideas, solve problems, create amazing, looking results both aesthetically and just, able to powerfully deliver the concept that they're trying to convey. And they want to be able to make sure that you're able to streamline that process through their Fluent UI system or user interface. That would be the ribbon in essence and how it's been structured instead of using the old style menus where you'd have to drop down and hit find a submenu, and inside that submenu try to find and drill down to a feature that you may never use. So they really wanted to redesign that. And of course, being able to tell a story with imagery and video, and being able to manipulate that video in a way that makes sense for you. On top of that, the Horizon report for the last couple of years have been saying that mobile education is here. We're doing things with tablets. Tablets are about to outsell notebooks and netbooks, and you're starting to see a lot more portability. You're seeing it with the students too. They're starting to use a lot of different devices rather than just your standard desktop computer. So the Office team wanted to make sure that their product was available to these users in different devices. Being able to be, work from any really internet-enabled device. And so they worked on that and made sure that there was that ability through what's called the Web Apps platform, which we'll talk about. They also wanted to make sure that users with a mobile phone should be able to access this. And so they have the Office mobile platform that they've updated for Office 2010. And then lastly, it's very often now that we don't work in silos. We don't work alone. We actually work with lots of people. And so being able to work with one another, especially sometimes at a distance. For example, Bill, who opened this up, we live together every day, but he's up in San Jose and I'm down here in Riverside County, Southern California. So being able to work on documents and things together at a distance is very important. And we need to be able to streamline that process. Well, Office, again, has looked at trying to address that through the use of their co-authoring capabilities, sharing files over their SharePoint interface or their SkyDrive solution, which we'll talk about, and then being able to broadcast slideshows, which we'll also talk about. So let's kind of cover in PowerPoint 2010 what are the new things that you can see in PowerPoint 2010 that brings your ideas to life. Well, first of all, you really need to be able to get comfortable with the Fluent user interface, and really that's focused on the ribbon instead of those menus we talked about before, where you really had to drill down to find a certain feature. They really try to use in the ribbon the natural language, where most of the material that you'll find that you use often will be on your Home tab, where things you do to insert into your product, it'll be under the Insert tab. If you're working with the design of your presentation, then you're probably going to find it in the Design tab. And so they have these different tabs that seem to make better sense as to what command you'll find under that tab. And then they also group different commands within a certain subset. So anything that deals with font, it will be in its own group. Anything that deals with the slide layout or adding new slides, it will be in the slide group. So you can see that it's categorized, organized a little bit better so that you may be able to take advantage of some of those features that maybe you were ever able to take advantage of before because you didn't know where to find them. The important thing is that in Office 2010, they've really just made a consistent model of the ribbon across all applications. In the past, with Office 2007, they made sure they did it with the common products, Excel, Word, but they didn't do it with the other platforms, which could be confusing then. So if they're using Access, for example, if they're using OneNote 2007, it didn't have the ribbon yet, but now it does. So they're making it consistent so you can become more comfortable with this user interface. They moved away from the Open Office button, some called it the orb, up in the upper left-hand corner, and they ended up coming up with the File tab. It made a lot of sense because people that were jumping from the Office 2003 platform were familiar with finding all those necessary commands and options for working with your document and saving your document and printing your document was found under the File menu. So they decided to leverage the comfort with the file name, and instead of hiding it inside the Office orb button or Office button, they decided to create the File tab where you could do that. And it's actually referred to as the backstage view. And what they mean by that is it's everything that you do to the content of your document or file, and it's done backstage. It doesn't deal with the actual content of your file, just what you can do with it, like send it places, store it or save it somewhere else, print it out. And so all those standard things you would do would be found in the backstage view. Along with that backstage view is they've streamlined the printing capabilities so that it's a lot easier to know what you're printing and how it really is going to look once you print it without wasting that toner to begin with. So you can see here that in the second little pane of this backstage window, it's a bigger button, easier to know where you click to add copies, an easy drop down to find out what printer you're going to print to, and all the different settings and options you would add to your printing, whatever you're going to do with it. And then what I really like is this preview. It actually shows you a high fidelity preview of what's going to be printed. And so before you used to have to click like a print preview button to see how it's going to look. And if you didn't like it, you had to close out that print preview and then make another change and then go back to print preview. Instead, you can make the changes here and they're automatically adjusted in the preview so you can see before you print and not waste any of that toner or paper. But really with the PowerPoint product, where the real power comes into play is the ability to add illustration and video easily and to be able to do things with those photos and video. And so one of the things that if you participated in the Word session a couple of weeks back, some of these tools we've already covered, but I'm going to cover them here for those of you that did not participate. With images and photos, clip art, you can actually now use a background removal tool. So let's say, for example, I just wanted this cup in the picture located here. I don't want necessarily the background of the table or anything else that's in the picture. I can use the background removal tool to just basically extract the cup itself, and then I'll have an image without that background, and then I can put it over white backgrounds and do other things with it that I couldn't do before because it had a background. They also incorporated a screen capture tool. This is called the screenshot tool inside of PowerPoint 2010 or all the Office products that have it. And what this allows you to do is take a snapshot or a screenshot of something on your desktop. It could be a window, it could be just a little segment of your desktop, and that allows you to put it into your presentation. So this is really nice if you're trying to take a picture of maybe a web page that you have visited and you want it to be in your PowerPoint, so you could take a screenshot of that. Or maybe you're providing a tutorial on how to do something with a certain software. You could take a screenshot of the toolbar and then maybe put an arrow pointing to a certain command that you're trying to show them. So that's built into the PowerPoint system now. And they have some crop tool enhancements. You were able to crop before, but there was always the frustration with some of the cropping, like when you would pull away the crop feature, you didn't really see what was going to be lost. You just automatically crop. They fixed that. So now it grays out the piece that you're going to crop before you commit to it. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually demo these features here in a second. So just hang tight and we'll be able to show those things in a minute here. And so now you can crop the aspect ratio. Before, when you would crop it, you couldn't really figure if you wanted to trim down a picture to a certain size and keep it that size without distorting the picture. Now you have that. And you could crop to shapes. So if there's a particular shape you want to crop to, you'll be able to see that. And so I'm going to show you guys these things in our demo here in the next slide. And as well, you could do things that typically you can only do with a photo editing software like Photoshop or Photoshop Elements, and that is to address tone, saturation, and apply artistic filters now right from the PowerPoint interface. So it's really nice to be able to see that those things are now built into PowerPoint without you having to incorporate another tool and therefore have another learning curve to add those different images and do the different manipulations to the images you would like to do. For PowerPoint, this is where it differs from the different tools that were in Microsoft Word. With PowerPoint, you have the ability now to embed video in. You used to be able to embed video for sure, but now you can actually trim the video that you add to your Blackboard environment. Your PowerPoint environment. You can trim the video because sometimes we have a longer video and we don't want all of the pieces of the video, so we can trim off pieces of that. We can actually make bookmarks in the actual video timeline. So if we want our students or someone, our user, to jump to a particular section of the video, we can identify that bookmark, and there will be an easy visual indicator for those students or users to click on the bookmark. And then lastly, there's an easy embed option where most of you may be using YouTube videos or videos from a lot of these websites, and to embed them in PowerPoint, you've always been able to do that with PowerPoint. It was just very difficult in older versions. You had to go into the Developers tab or the Developers toolbar, and you had to incorporate or add a Shockwave Flash object, and then you had to do all this crazy sizing and identify the path to the actual video on YouTube. But while it worked, it was a lot of work to try to get done. So they try to make it an easier process. And I'm going to show you where it's at. I unfortunately can't show you how to do it today because I'm on a 64-bit platform, and for some reason the Adobe Flash Player, they're still working on it, but to incorporate Flash-based videos, you need to have a 64-bit Flash Player, and they don't have that yet. So I'm not going to be able to show that to you specifically, but I'll show you where to go to get it done, and it's real easy to complete. So those are some of the things that they've added to PowerPoint 2010 so that you could incorporate these different video enhancements. Along with those enhancements, one of the things we talked about before is the Paste with Live Preview. There's been times where I'm sure you guys have pasted content from another application or another file, and when you paste it over to your new file, you didn't like the way it came out. That's not what I planned, and so you have to delete that and then retry to paste and see how it works. So there's different pasting options. We've seen those before with the application. So now what they allow for you to do is copy from one file and then paste it with a live preview. So when you actually try to paste, the pasting options will show up as these little icons. And then you can just hover over those different options, and it'll show you right on the document or the PowerPoint slide how it will look once you release this button. And so you can verify if it's the right paste, or if you want to just pull only a particular maybe style. You don't want to merge the styles between both. You only want to copy the text that's coming from it, not the colors or fonts. And so you have those options, and you can see them up front before committing to the actual command. So that's really nice with the paste preview. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to actually demo this, the background removal, the screenshot, and the crop, as well as the trim, the bookmark, and the embed process. So give me 1 second to turn on my app sharing here. Okay, let's see here. You should be seeing a sample presentation here. It says video trim, bookmark, and embed. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is we're going to do the background removal, screenshot, and crop first. So again, some of you guys that have been in the Word presentation, you may have seen this before. hang tight just for those that may have only participated in the PowerPoint session we're doing today. So to actually use the background removal tool, you see I have a picture here, and all I really want from this picture is the gentleman sipping on his cup of coffee. Now, I don't want the background with the trees or the rooftop here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to actually click on the image. And what you'll notice when I click on the image, I get the active border around it with the sizing handles, but I also get a contextual tab up at the top called the Picture Tools Format tab. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And it gives me all the contextual options for what I can do with this particular image. Over on the Adjust group, there's some different things I can do, and one of them happens to be remove the background. So I'm going to click on that. And what you'll notice is it brings up a background removal tab with options that are specific to this command. And it actually is kind of colored out my photo a little bit. Anything that's in the kind of purplish magenta color here is what will be removed. Their area is marked for remove. So I'm going to have to do a little work here and clean it up a little bit. So I'm changing the sizing handles to make sure it captures a little bit more of what I want. And then I can actually use the tools up here to mark areas that I want to keep or remove. So first I'm going to click on Mark Areas to Keep. And I'm going to, and you don't have to trace along. A lot of people think, oh, I just trace along the edges here. Actually, just drag across the areas that you want to keep. And what it'll do is it'll tend to try to identify certain color schemes that match, and it'll try to pull in those things. And as you do so, you'll notice that all the pieces that are being marked to keep end up no longer being purple, but instead are then actual color. And again, you don't have to really trace for it. You just draw across and it'll get that for you. Okay, so I'm just going to use this as a crude example here, and then when I'm ready, let's just say that I'm happy with what I've removed and what I've kept, then all I have to do is click Keep Changes. And now you'll notice that it takes away all the background, and I can do some different things with this now. I can place this gentleman in different settings where maybe before it seemed a little awkward with the trees in the background. So that's the cropping tool. The background removal tool. The screenshot tool, like we mentioned before, it operates a lot like Jing. If some of you have used Jing before, there's a screen capture tool called Snagit that TechSmith creates as well. I believe the snipping tool in Microsoft Vista or Windows 7 does very similar things. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Office team decided to just take the snipping tool and embed it directly into the Office platform. So what we could do here is to add a screenshot. We go to the Insert tab, and under the Images group, there's a screenshot option. If I click on that, it says I could screenshot a particular window that happens to be in my taskbar, or I can take a general screen clipping that I drag and drop and try to locate specifically the dimensions of my picture. So that's what I'm going to choose right now. And so you'll notice that everything's kind of grayed out, and what I have is some crosshairs. And so I'm going to click and drag, and you'll notice that the part that is no longer grayed out will be the part of the image that I'm going to be taking a capture of. Once I release, then it adds that right into the PowerPoint slide that I happen to be on. And so I took a quick picture of the ribbon, and now I can make, as you can see, the Picture Tools format bar. I can do all the same things I had before because it operates just like a standard picture. So I can add styles to it. I can change the picture effects, remove background if I need to. And so you're able to do that kind of stuff too. So that's a screenshot tool. It's real simple to use. You just simply choose it from the Insert tab and choose what you want to have as part of your capture. And there you go. It's right inside of your presentation now. One other thing you can do is you can see a crop capability. So I'm going to, in the same Picture Tools Format tab, under the Sizing group, there's a crop tool. It's always been there, but now there's some other options to crop. Now you can crop the shape, So you can pick any one of your auto shapes, and it'll actually crop the image to fit that shape. You can crop to a particular aspect ratio. You could crop to make sure it fills a particular environment, or that it fits in the certain crop area. I'm going to choose crop to shape, and I'm going to actually choose one of the bubble captions down here, call out. So now you'll notice that it actually cropped my shape to like a bubble caption call out. And so we didn't have to do any specific trimming on our own. It just knew that it needed to crop to that shape. And so you can do some interesting things with this, and obviously get creative and do what you want with that. And secondly, what I wanted to share with you guys is the video trim bookmark and embed option. And this is pretty specific to PowerPoint. You can't do this in the other applications in the Office suite. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a video that I have locally saved to my computer. In PowerPoint, you can do that by going to the Insert tab, or you can offer these shortcut images here. I can click on the one that says Insert Media Clip. I'm going to show you from the ribbon though. Insert, and then under the media group there's a video option. I'm going to click on the little drop down, and I'm going to choose video for the file, because I'm going to look on my computer for the file I'm interested in. And I'll find my file on my computer and click Insert. And so what it's done is it's embedded this this video directly into my presentation. You'll notice now that I have a little play, like a player bar at the bottom where I can click play and jump back and forth and change the audio. And I also, because it's an active video, I have a couple of contextual tabs here under the video tools section. I could format this video by making similar corrections. I can add styles to it, put a frame around it. I can crop it as well. I also have a playback tab here that allows me to do a couple other things as well. The first thing that I want to show under the playback is I have a video here. It looks like it's about 34 seconds, but maybe I want to start. I can play it here, and I don't know how smooth this is coming across to you guys, but let's say I wanted to start right at this point, or maybe right there. Instead of having them jump, I can bookmark this, meaning it'll be kind of like a divider or an indexed point where somebody can click directly there and jump to a spot. And that can save a student some time or a user some time if that's what you'd like to do. So to add the bookmark here is first I make sure that I'm in the location on the toolbar where I want to set up the bookmark. And then on the playback contextual tab under bookmarks, that's a smart name for it, click the Add Bookmark button. And all that simply does is it puts a little dot right where you left off on your video. And so it's an easy visual indicator for your users to be able to click on and skip to a point in the video that you want them to go to. You can remove the bookmark by also, to make sure you're on that particular bookmark, and then click Remove Bookmark as well. I'll show you this in action here. If I skip back, and so really it's not anything magical here. It's just putting a visual indicator for your users to jump to a certain section. Instead of you telling them, why don't you jump over to 54 seconds into the video? This will give them a quick way of clicking on that and jumping to that section. Some of you may use bookmarks. Some of you may use what's called a trim video, and some of you use both. You can trim your video from what it currently is and take off edges, and maybe you just want a certain piece of the video so that they don't have to jump to particular sections of the video. To do that, you still have the video actively clicked, and so that you have your contextual menus here. And on the playback menu or tab, again, under the editing group, you'll see that there's a trim video option. So I'm going to click on trim video, and that should pop up a trim video dialog box here. Now it's showing me the entire video, but let's say that I only wanted parts of the video in the middle. I'll take these little handles at the edges. The green is for the start and the red is for the end of the video. I can click on that and drag it over to where I want the video to begin. Let's say I want it to begin here. And I actually want it to end a little earlier too. So maybe up to there. Now I have a start time and an end time that differs. If I'm happy with this trim, all I do is click OK. And now the video is a lot shorter. Now it's only 13 seconds and it starts right here. So that's your video trim and bookmark capabilities. The last thing that I'm going to sort of show you is the embed option. Like we mentioned before, some of you are using YouTube videos, Vimeo videos, and you want to be able to add those right directly into your PowerPoint and not be a very difficult way to do it. Well, I'm going to show you where to go to do it. Unfortunately, I can't go all the way through and show you the entire process because of the Flash Player issue. But it's really easy to do. You simply would go to your Insert tab, and under the Insert tab, under the Media Group, you'll click Video, just like you did before to add a video that was on your computer. But this time when you click Video, you're going to have an option called Video from Website. Now mine's grayed out here because of that issue I mentioned to you. However, if you click Video from Website, what it's going to do is provide you a little pop-up, and it's going to say, give us the embed code or the code that you would get from that website for you to embed it onto my PowerPoint. And so you would go to YouTube, and under the Share button, they give you two links. They usually give you the link for just linking to the YouTube website, and they also give you an embed link, which is a lot more code. All you have to do is copy that and paste it into this field that they provide, click OK, and now the YouTube video is directly into your PowerPoint. No need to go out and try to learn how to add a Shockwave Flash object like you used to in the previous versions of PowerPoint. So that's where you would go to do it, in the same place where you would add normal video. The only difference is you would just paste in the code provided to you by the YouTube site or the other sites that you may use. So that's some of the video editing capabilities and photo editing capabilities in a PowerPoint. Now I'm going to jump back out here. Okay, and we're going to jump ahead. So in addition to some of the enhancements for bringing your ideas to life, the ability to work flexibly from anywhere is the next step for PowerPoint. And one of the things that they've done with PowerPoint and the Office, a lot of the Office products, is provided a web application for accessing PowerPoint on the internet without having to have the installed client that you normally have to have installed to access it. So this is really an online extension of PowerPoint. It's available from Windows Live, SharePoint Online, or SharePoint if you have a SharePoint in your domain or at your college. You can view, create, and edit those documents with a standard familiar Office interface. So it's not like you jump in there and the tool set is completely different or accessed completely different from what you were comfortable with in the client. So you get a ribbon. It may not be a complete ribbon like you have on the software client, but you get the same type of ribbon and you're able to do some general editing. What's nice about this is, what if you have your PowerPoint presentation and you saved it up to like your SkyDrive, which we'll talk about here in a second, and you're at a conference and you realize that you have a typo in your presentation, and you really want to fix that, but you don't have a computer with the PowerPoint installed on it available to you at the conference. Well, if you have access to the internet, you could still log into that file because you saved it up to your SharePoint or your SkyDrive, and you can use the web app to edit it directly. And so again, if you have an internet connection, you can access this virtually anywhere and use it. And also you can share your work with others and actually co-author with others with this document as well. Some of the key features of the Office Web App environment is obviously that you can work together. You're able to share it over these platforms. You're able to co-author, meaning you can both be working on the PowerPoint at the same time, collaborating at a distance, instead of having to be in the same room with one another, or working separately and then emailing files to one another to show the changes, which can get frustrating. It has cross-platform support, meaning you don't have to be an Internet Explorer browser to access the web app version of the client. You can be on Firefox and Safari as well, because those are supported as well. The cool thing is that you don't even actually need the software. You don't have to install. You have a free access to the web app environment without even owning the Office software. You just log in. If you create an account with SkyDrive Live or Microsoft Live, then and that account's free. They'll give you 25 gigs of free space, and then you have free access to their web app environment. Obviously, it's their effort to try to compete with the Google Docs environment. You can use this Office Anywhere. You can create and edit documents, as we said. It's a high fidelity viewing, meaning you're going to see pretty much what you created on your desktop computer. You're going to see it in that full fidelity online. There may be certain things that it won't show, like certain smart arts or something like that, but it doesn't mean those smart arts are gone. It just may not be able to show those through the browser. And of course, you can round trip, which means you can start working on this document in your Office client and still work on it later on in the web app and then back to the Office client. So it's nice to be able to see those type of capabilities with the Office web app. In addition to using the web for this, you could use a PowerPoint Mobile, which is available to you on Microsoft phones, Windows phones that are 6.5 version and above, and so now they're on Windows 7, Docs. But you can use 6.5 or 7 there. Now, it has obviously a touch-friendly user interface. You can sync it with your SharePoint, or actually only your SharePoint, not SkyDrive in that one. You can use for PowerPoint. You can use the phone actually as a second monitor, like an extended display for your PowerPoint, and so you can have a full display on your phone or the notes page on your phone while the PowerPoint presentation is actually being projected elsewhere. And then again, it offers you some high fidelity editing. You don't have to worry about having a different interface for editing the process even on the phone. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to show you a couple things with how you can share and edit files on SkyDrive. SkyDrive again is a free 25 gigs of storage from Microsoft for you. You just visit skydrive.live.com and you can access that. And it gives you a standard folder structure that you may be familiar with, that you use on your desktop now. And then we'll show you how to edit in the web app and even share the file. So let me go ahead and launch this. Okay, so I'm going to minimize this PowerPoint, and now you should be seeing the Introducing PowerPoint 2010 presentation. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go to the File tab, which is that backstage view we talked about before. And what you'll be able to see here is under this backstage view, you have the standard saves and prints, but under the Save and Send option, I have lots of options where I can send this to. Now I'm going to send it to this SkyDrive account that I told you about before. So I'm going to click on Save to Web. And what that does is it tries to save it to Windows SkyDrive. What you'll notice here, it says right away it's saving it to my SkyDrive. Now if I wanted to, I could actually log off by clicking Not Micah and then use my SkyDrive user account and password, and it'll log me in and show me all the folders that I've created in my SkyDrive account. So you'll notice here that I have a lot of folders being used and shared with others. And let's say, for example, I wanted to save this file in the Office 2010 folder. And I would just click on the Office 2010 folder here and click Save As. And what it does is it brings up your standard Save As field like you would normally see. But you might notice up in the field I have this weird looking folder structure. And what that really is it's my unique identifier on SkyDrive. So it's going to be saving it up there on SkyDrive. And it's in my Office 2010 folder up in SkyDrive. And so I'm just going to click Save here. And because I already had a copy of it there, it's asking, are you sure you want to replace it? I'm going to say yes. And what you'll notice at the bottom here is it's uploading the server and it started to save the process. Because I had a copy up there already, it went by pretty quickly. If you save for the first time, it's going to take a little bit more time, obviously, to save. to a web-based environment. So now I have the file saved up on the SkyDrive environment. I'm going to actually bounce out of the PowerPoint environment. I'm going to open up my web browser. So it's going to take me 1 more second because I have to change the app sharing here. And so what you'll see now is my SkyDrive page, and that's just skydrive.live.com. And what I can do is I'm just going to log in with my account. Oops, got to log back in, it looks like. Says my session timed out. So, give me 1 second here. Okay, let me try a new window here. There we go. So once I log in, it shows me all the folders that I have created in my SkyDrive account. And I believe I saved it in my Office 2010 folder. And it was called Introducing. So you'll notice that it says today I have a file that I uploaded called Introducing. And I have some options over to the right. I can edit it directly in the browser. I can open it in PowerPoint that I might have installed on my computer, as well as some other options for sharing. I'm going to click Edit in Browser. And you'll notice that it actually launches a very similar look and feel of the ribbon right in front of us on the browser. Because saying that it's checked out by another user. Maybe I have it open. Make sure I closed it. Yeah, I still had it open. Sorry about that. Let's try this again. Edit in Browser. So what it's doing is it's loading this document into the web app environment. And you can see it looks very similar to your standard PowerPoint environment. And if I go down to like slide 4, say, and I wanted to make a change, I can click right into the field and I can make changes to it. All from the web, not using PowerPoint, the software itself. This does not require that at all. And again, it is available to you from different browsers. You don't have to just use Internet Explorer. I know a lot of times Microsoft tends to make you have to use Internet Explorer for those things, but in this case they set it up so you don't have to do that. So that's your web app tool in Office 2010. I'm going to go ahead and close this out here. And let's return back to the PowerPoint here. So working together, you can actually co-author with some other people logged in at a distance on the same document. You can simultaneously edit it with another person as well. If you have other things installed on your computer like Microsoft Live Messenger, then you'll be able to see when that user is present and actually communicate with them separately through chat tools available to you in those different tools. We've provided some other links that you can download if you download the PowerPoint presentation on additional webcasts and information about co-authoring. Other little new features in PowerPoint 2010 that can help with working effectively with others is you can compress your media. So if you have a presentation with video in it and you know it's very large, as we would know if we're uploading video and audio into our PowerPoint presentation, we can compress it for the purpose of sending it off to somebody else. It saves you disk space, obviously, and it can improve the playback performance for somebody. And there's different quality options. There's a high quality option that really just it takes off some of the fat that would come along with videos, but it really still gives you a high quality look of the PowerPoint. And then you have medium quality and a low quality that would be delivered over email, because obviously with email you can't have super large attachments, and so it would cut down a lot of the quality of the video just for the purpose of sharing with one another. The other option is you can actually create a video of your PowerPoint, and it doesn't require other software like there's Camtasia and other things that you can do this too, but this is actually built in right into PowerPoint. So there's a create video option that's right from your backstage view off the file tab, and what it'll do is it'll create a video version of your PowerPoint slide in Windows Media Video format. And you can distribute that by disk, by web, or email. And what it does is it preserves all those animations and transitions and any other type of media that you've stored in the video so that it's delivered in the video format. So you just need Windows Media Player to play a WMV file. The last thing that we're going to share with you today through demo is you can actually broadcast the slideshow in PowerPoint. Broadcasting the slideshow is really cool because you don't have to have your users requiring certain software. All they need is access to the internet and a browser. And so you could share your PowerPoint presentation. So for example, we're sharing a PowerPoint presentation right now through CCC Confer. And we uploaded the PowerPoint presentation using the CCC Confer native tools. And what it does is it takes pictures of the slides and turns them into like a Java-based image of the slide. Now the problem with that is if I had any animations or anything in my PowerPoint, I can kiss those goodbye because it's not going to show up here. However, if I want to broadcast the slideshow, it preserves all of those animations and changes through this product. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to establish a slideshow, and then I'm going to provide the link in the chat window, and you can click on the link to see how it would work with you guys. And just so you know, you don't need client software again if you're sharing it with other people. They just need an internet browser and the internet. And it works off of Internet Explorer, Firefox, and Safari. So let me jump in one more time into the PowerPoint environment here. Do 1 second. Give me a couple more seconds here. My PowerPoint's wigging out on me really quickly, so I'm trying to add a few of them open here. There we go. Okay, so what I want is that one. Okay. All right, so I'm going to share my PowerPoint with you again. The one we want is actually introducing. And we're going to broadcast this by going to the File backstage view. And under the Save and Send option, you'll see that we have all sorts of options like we saved it to the SkyDrive earlier. I'm going to show Broadcast Slideshow. Okay. And so it tells you here there's no setup required. It just creates a link for other people and they can watch during the broadcast. I'm going to click Broadcast Slideshow. And I get a Broadcast Slideshow Properties window here. And it's going to be using a special broadcast service that PowerPoint provides. And to start the broadcast, I got to click Start Broadcast. And so it's basically preparing my PowerPoint to be broadcast over the web using just a browser and internet connectivity. So it's going to take a little bit of time to get the broadcast prepared up front. But once it's prepared, it will give you a link. And then you share that link via email, says it cannot upload my broadcast at the time. Let's see if we can do it one more time here. Maybe an issue with their broadcast service at the time. But what you can do is you can paste in a link into a chat window, or you can share it through email, and it keeps all of the fidelity of your PowerPoint presentation. But it looks like it's having some issues with the presentation here, so I may not be able to show this to you right now. If you want, I shared this in a previous desktop seminar called Sneak Peek at Office 2010, and we were able to get it working there. So it could be just a technical difficulty on their broadcast service side right now. But you can see it in action there and maybe test it on your own later on. Okay, let's see. Sorry about that, guys. Ran asked a great question. Is it a proprietary format to broadcast, or can we post our file on our own website? It's actually not a format at that in that regard. So when you share the link, you could post the file itself, the PowerPoint file, ran on your website, and they'll download that file and access it on their own. But if you wanted to run it on your own, like you wanted them to follow you as you went through the presentation and you're broadcasting it to them, then you would just share this link. And the link would, when you click next, so does the PowerPoint. It clicks next for them while they're watching it. It's kind of like what we're doing here in Confer, but the only difference would be that the animations would be preserved. Any of those other motion kind of things would be preserved in the presentation. And so when you broadcast, you're just sharing the link. The nice thing about that is you don't have to worry about certain software, like for example, we have got Java here, and then you got to make sure it downloads that Java effectively. And so it's just another option for broadcasting or sharing PowerPoint without having your audience need to install software or do certain things with it, and you're able to control it as the presenter. So that's the nice thing about it. Last thing that we're going to share here, and there's no demo here, but just kind of talk about the security and manageability again of your PowerPoints. We're getting so many things from the web now via attachment and whatnot that sometimes when we open these files, they're problematic. They have macros in them, they are virus laden, and they cause problems with our computers. So now what you're able to do with PowerPoint and most Office products is if it downloads the file in a protected view, that means basically that before you can open the file, it'll tell you, look, you're in a read-only view. You're not able to actually click or make changes to it. If you want to edit it, you have to click the Enable Editing button. That gives you just one extra level of protection there. And so that might save you from causing problem with one of your files being downloaded. If you don't trust the people, then you shouldn't click Enable Editing from the file. You got to make sure that you verify who's sending it. And that is correct, Ran. You can use the app sharing in CCC Confer, share your desktop, and it'll maintain those animations as long as the app sharing environment is, I don't know how the delay is. For the most part, it's relatively quick and good. So you could definitely use the app sharing in CCC Confer and run your PowerPoint presentation that way via that kind of broadcast instead of using the PowerPoint built-in tool. This is another opportunity to do it without having to even launch CCC Confer. I'm going to share with you guys some additional resources here. If you download the file on your website, on our At One website, you'll be able to access these resources. There's one to the Office website itself, more about Office Mobile. The Office web apps is another link, and then if you guys are interested in getting your own SkyDrive and 25 gigabytes of free storage space, check that out. And that's it for the presentation portion of it. Is there any questions, comments, concerns you guys want to share regarding the platform? Bill was nice enough to place our evaluation link in there. And it's also up on the screen here. If you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat window. I'll feel free to answer those for you. And if not, sure. Let me see if I can pull this up. Did request there, and let me see if I can grab these guys and put in the chat window. There you go. So there's those resource links right inside of the chat window. Feel free to click on those or copy and paste and use them for your own. I'm glad it worked for you, Deb. So if there are any other questions, comments, concerns that you want to share that maybe you didn't think about on the fly, you can email me. I'm going to type that into the chat window as well. That's morloff@onefortraining.org. And I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have offline as well. And be sure to fill out that survey for us. We use that information to, make better our programs to you guys. And it takes about 3 to 4 minutes. We greatly appreciate it. You'll also receive a link to the archive of this presentation and access to the PowerPoint file. Within 48 hours, you'll receive an email there. And we recommend that you come see us at our website, onefortraining.org. There's lots of resources out there, online classes coming up, archives to our desktop seminars. Check them out.
Micah, this was awesome. Thank you very much. I learned a lot. It was great.
Hey, thanks, Bill. And again, thank you all for participating today. And look forward to seeing you at future @ONE events.